Alright, so Jamaica's finally released their 26-man squad for the remaining two match of the World Cup qualifiers. Alright, so we're going to start off with goalkeepers. So we have the starting keeper, who is Andre Blake, the captain. We have Jamal Away, who is the backup keeper, and we have Tafari Chambers, who is the keeper on the reserve. And for the defenders, we have Joel, we have Ethan Pinnock, we have Richard King, we have Dexter, we have Gregory, we have Damian Lowe, we have Rico Henry. Well, Rico Henry is actually a first-time call-up, and he's coming from the Premier League, so he's an experienced defender. So this is his first call-up for the Reggae Boys. We have Mason Oldgate and we have Ian Frey. And for the midfielders, we have Isaac Aiden, Bobby Reed, Jonathan Russell, K. Roy Anderson, and Joshua Anglin. And for the forwards, we have Bailey Kadateri, Shamar Nicholson, Ronman Burrell, Demar Gray, Kaheem Dixon, Ronaldo Cephas, Tyrese Campbell, Wayne Brown, Dujan Richards. So we have basically majority of the usual suspects that was a part of the team already. The only first time call up we have is Rico Henry, who is a player of Brentford from the Premier League. We're getting an experienced player in the defense. So this is basically the squad that we are looking forward to carrying us through the remaining match for the World Cup qualifiers. And we have Trinidad and Tobago to play at their home, and we also have Curacao to play in Jamaica. So I think that would be the match that will decide whether or not we're going to go to the World Cup, because we're currently on 9 points. Curacao is right behind us on 8 points, and Trinidad and Tobago is behind of Curacao on 5 points. But as I said before, Curacao match will basically determine whether or not we will qualify for the World Cup or we're going to go in a playoff ground. Because once if anybody finish second in any group is basically heading to the playoff rounds. And facing Trinidad and Tobago again, I don't think that one is going to be a hard task, because they were the second match that we faced, and that match ended 2-0 with Bailey scoring and John Russell, both in the first half and also in the second half. But it's a home match against Trinidad and Tobago on November the 13th, so we cannot rely on home soil. You get me? Also, because we are basically playing on their ground. So end of the day, we just need to come with the A game. We haven't had any major problem with Trinidad and Tobago in the past. We have always been the dominant team over Trinidad and Tobago. But at the end of the day, we need to look on this as we need to take every match as the last match of the group, or take every match as the only match of the group that we can play to overcome to make it to the World Cup qualifiers. You get me? Also, because to be honest, Jamaica has always been the better team in the group. But it's football, the ball is round, anything is possible. And that goes to show, Curacao match goes to show that Jamaica can be beaten, because we lost to Curacao at their home 2-0. And I think it was a coach fault because of the formation. Well, not the formation, but the players that he start. It's like he was nervous, or I think honestly he'd be too comfortable. You understand? We'll win our two first matches, and then the third match basically I got to start some different set of players and put some of the players in a position that they are not comfortable in, or a position that they cannot play in. You get me? But nonetheless, we have 2 matches left, one on the 13 and one on the 18. And I honestly think that, as I said before, we need to play every match as if it's the last match, and we need to play as if we're not at the top of the group, because we'll see where that got us. Steve McLaren, we were at the top of the group. Steve McLaren started that side against Curacao, and it never ended so well for us. So get me answer, but as I said before, we have never having an issue with Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not going to say it's an easy win, but it's a competitive match, because as I said before, both 3 countries are fighting to go to the World Cup, and although second place is a runner-up, there's no way in hell we would want to be a run-up when we are currently back at the top of the table. You get me? And I totally like the lineup, and I think once Steve McLaren can start the right players, we definitely not have an issue. Because as I said before, we have some of the usual suspects on the starting lineup. Andre Blake is back, and most of the players are out because of multiple injuries, like Demar Gray, Leon Bailey. No, not Demar Gray. Casey Palmer, Leon Bailey. Just to name a few. And the good thing about this is Demar Gray is back in the squad. I'm not sure if he's 100% fit, but Demar Gray was out of the team on a minor injury, and Dujon Richards taking his place. But Demar Gray is back and regained back his spot in the squad, and Dujon Richards is also back in the squad. So as you can see, this team of attackers is very lethal. You get me? And as I say, I think the coaches need to start the right players and focus on winning the matches and not join and not playing defensive ball, because at the end of the day we have the quality players, and I honestly think we need to stick to a 4-2-3-1 formation, with Andre Blake in the goal, Damian Lowe in the centre back, King next to him, because King has been performing tremendous for his club, also scoring a goal. Aiden in the midfield, Russell in the midfield as well, instead of Bobby Reid in the midfield, because to be honest, I think Bobby Reid played the last match that we played was against Bermuda, and Bobby Reid was in the midfield and he played a good match, without a doubt. He played a good match, but Bobby Reid is not a midfielder. Bobby Reid is not used to that defensive midfield position there. But I understand what the coaches basically try to fit everybody in the squad, because as I say, Bobby Reid is a talented player, and Palmer, Casey Palmer was injured at the moment, so he was starting at the attacking mid, so Bobby Reid definitely would have to be a start. Well, Steve McLaren wanted Bobby Reid to be a starting player, so that's why I put him in the midfield, and he performed good against Bermuda, without a doubt. He's also scored a goal, and he performed good against Bermuda, also having 3 shots on target. So the midfield work in this match, but I'm not sure it will work in every matches. You understand? But for Trinidad and Tobago, I think he should just stick to the regular lineup. I think he can also play about the same formation that he did against Bermuda, and also use about the same starting lineup, like Shamar Nixon in the centre forward, Cephas on the left, Dix or Dujon Richards on the right, and Palmer is out, so Reid can be in the middle, and we also have Demar Gray. So he's probably going to change with the formation a little bit, because Demar Gray played on the left, and Cephas can probably go on the other right, and Dix in the middle. You get me? So there's a lot of options, and that's the good thing about Jamaica squad. We have a lot of options. If a certain player is not performing up to standard, he can be subbed off. But where attackers is concerned, we are really okay in that aspect, because you have a lot of good attackers, both young and old, veteran and upcoming. Dixon and Dujon Richard being the 2 youngest, and Bailey being the 3 youngest players on the field where attackers are concerned. And we have more seasonal players like Bobby Reid, Shamar Nicholson, Cephas, Demar Gray. So we're not short on talent when it comes to the attackers. The midfield now, I think the midfield option should be Aiden and Russell instead of Demar Gray. Because no, not Demar Gray, Bobby Reid, because I know that Bobby Reid performed good in the last match against Bermuda, playing in the midfield position, but he's not a midfielder. He's not a midfielder. and when they're playing a more competitive match, because as I said before, Trinidad and Tobago, although they're at 5 points, they're still gonna in a fighting mode, either for first or for run up. You understand? And anything is possible, as I always say. And I think Jamaica just should approach every match as if it's their last match. We cannot approach every match as if we're at the top and we are leading by many points, because we're not. You get me, I say? But where midfielders is concerned, I honestly think that Isaac Aiden and also should be the starting midfielders on the field. And if they should make a sub, Anglin can make a good substitution instead of him using Bobby Reed, because on the call-up sheet that Jamaica page has posted, Bobby Reed is currently under the midfielder position, so I'm assuming that he's going to be starting as a midfielder. And for the defenders, we have a lot of good talent in the defending as well. We have to give Richard King a big shout out. He has been performing really good in his club and also in Jamaica squad. You get me, what I'm saying? And as I said in the last review about the Jamaica performance, Richard King was playing as if he was attacking midfielder, and I think he have that attack mentality about him, But I think as much as he's a defender, I'm not saying if he get the chance to run and score, he shouldn't. But I think he should just stick to a defensive role, especially if they are defending. If they're attacking and the formation change or the gameplay change, he can then run up and do his thing. But where the starting lineup goes for the defenders, I would say Richard King without a doubt, Damian Lowe without a doubt, two of them in the center back position. On the left, we can put Gregory. He was missed in the match against Curacao. He was missed in the match against Curacao, and he's back now. Dexter on the right, and yeah, that's it. So that's it for the World Cup qualifiers. So we have, as I said before, we have 2 matches left. I honestly think that Jamaica is going to make it to the World Cup and create history, and I think that this is just a warm up for the World Cup, because the World Cup is going to be very, very competitive. So Jamaica just need to get ready, be ready, and know it's all right. The real journey just begun.